Hey guys, this is Comic Fan 13. I just have to say this up front. This pitch for the Knuckles TV series was written before the teaser came out. So naturally, it hasn't really influenced how I would have written the series. This will not reflect how the actual show is going to go, besides basic information we had before the teaser released. So with that out of the way, let's jump right in. The series would open with Knuckles reminiscing about his childhood, growing up with the Echidna tribe, and learning valuable lessons from them. As a young warrior, Knuckles was quite hot-headed and would like to just charge right into battle, but his father explained that a true warrior must keep his balance, demonstrating his point figuratively and literally by balancing on a thin pole as he prepares to shoot a target with a bow and arrow. His father successfully does, but Knuckles misses the entire point of the statement by saying it would just be easier for him to run up and punch it, and as such he chooses to demonstrate. He charges, prepares to punch, and as the punch hits, we cut back to present day with Knuckles training on some makeshift targets, or as Maddie and Tom would call them, the collectible plates that can't be replaced. Knuckles is training in his room. Not only does this represent his discipline, but it also reminds the audience of what he can do. Punch, kick, glide, climb, etc. His training is interrupted when Sonic runs in. He explains that he, Tails, and the Wachowskis will be going on a vacation trip for the week, and they want Knuckles to guard the house while they're gone. This will be our convenient excuse for why Knuckles is handling things on his own rather than Sonic and Tails jumping in. Knuckles accepts the burden of guarding the homestead while they are gone. And as soon as they leave, Knuckles transforms the house into a place more fitting of an Echidna warrior. The interior of the house is redesigned to look like a battlefield mixed with an ancient temple. Cave drawings depict how he defeated Robotnik, with minor help from Sonic, and he makes a cushion fort for the Master Emerald. And with all of his preparations done, he finally sits, guarding the Master Emerald. Sure, the individual Chaos Emeralds that were placed in it may be gone, but the Master Emerald is still incredibly powerful and must be protected. This is my sacred duty as the last of the Echidna, Knuckles thinks to himself. His thought process is interrupted, though, as a knock comes from the door. Knuckles goes to investigate with one of his makeshift spears in hand. He swings open the door, only to find Wade the officer. Knuckles questions what he's doing here, with Wade explaining that, although Knuckles was told to watch the house, Wade was told to watch Knuckles. Knuckles feels a little offended by this, as he is no pet. I am Knuckles the Echidna, last of my kind and guardian of the Master Emerald. I do not need protection. He punches the wall to prove his point, which shatters a window, proving that he does in fact need someone to watch him. Knuckles begrudgingly lets Wade in. The pair begin to chat for a bit. This is a good chance to establish their character dynamics. Neither of them are exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but Knuckles is far more confident and skilled, while Wade has a bit more common sense, if only a little bit more. Wade also inadvertently proves that he is more clumsy, as he trips over a throw pillow and knocks over the Master Emerald. Knuckles is infuriated, but then he notices the sun glazing through the Master Emerald, its green light shining onto the map Sonic has had throughout the last few films. The light reveals something on the map. We see a mountain highlighted on Earth, one that seemingly holds an Echidna temple, similar to the owl temples from Sonic Movie 2. The writing is in ancient Echidnic, but Knuckles is naturally able to read it. This temple is labeled as the Caves of Chaos, and it seemingly is placed just shortly outside of Green Hills. The pair look at each other. You know, we'd have to be pretty dumb to go check out that cave, even if it does sound pretty cool. Right, indeed. Only a fool would go on such a pointless adventure. So the fools race out of the house, jump into Wade's squad car, and race off towards the mountains. The pair park at the bottom of the summit. A nearly 90-degree angle meets them. Welp, no way we're getting up there. This This is no problem for an Echidna warrior. Knuckles proceeds to pick up the car with Wade still inside, hurling it all the way to the top of the mountain, where the vehicle comes to a rest near the top, its airbags going off and its wheels broken. But Wade is okay, if not just a little bit startled. Knuckles, along with the Master Emerald he brought for safekeeping, joins him at the top. As Wade regains his composure, Knuckles begins looking around. He sees a giant pair of doors that are clearly the entrance to the temple. And before long, he discovers a weird statue which serves as the key to enter. He places it down onto a pressure pad, which opens up the doors to the Caves of Chaos. Wade comments on Knuckles' skills. Guess you're a regular Indiana Jones. Who is this Jones from Indiana you speak of? Oh, he's an archaeologist. A what? A guy in a fancy hat who explores. Knuckles smirks. Well, in that case, with my skills, I will be the greatest archaeologist this world has ever seen. And with that, Knuckles confidently charges into the cave, with Wade following behind. But the officer isn't alone, as unknown to either of the pair, there is a strange orange orb following them through the temple. They make their way through a series of booby traps that are themed after actual obstacles from the Sonic games, until they eventually reach an obstacle that's more difficult. Before them is a checkerboard floor. Some of these tiles set off booby traps, while others are safe to walk upon. Knuckles' first instinct is just run through and dodge whatever comes his way, but quickly becomes apparent that won't work, as he is sent back to the beginning multiple times after being launched by springs, set on fire, and shot at by arrows. But after several failed attempts, he notices some symbols on the ground. 7 tiles, each of them having a symbol of a Chaos Emerald. Remembering what his father told him all those years ago, if he wants to succeed, he's going to have to maintain a calm mental balance and watch his step as he makes a way across the floor. One by one, he gently glides between each tile, until eventually making it to the other end, pulling a lever to disable the traps so Wade can get across. At the end of the temple was a pillar, with a hole specifically shaped to match the Master Emerald. It was clear what had to be placed there. After all, the Master Emerald revealed the cave in the first place on the map, so maybe it has some sort of connection to this cave. Knuckles places it into its hole, and nothing happens. Knuckles and Wade look around, expecting something to occur, but all they can see is a series of cave drawings. They depict a tale about how a brave Echidna warrior found all 7 Chaos Emeralds and had them fused into the Master Emerald, before the evil clan of Owls stole it from him. Of course, the story is a bit biased on its perspective, but for the most part, the story is quite accurate. As Knuckles explains the legend to Wade, which is also a good way to remind the audience of the lore, they don't notice that a strange blue liquid is fueling into the Master Emerald. After waiting long enough, Knuckles and Wade decide that the trip was a bust. They march their way back out of the Caves of Chaos, only to remember the squad car is busted. So, Wade jumps onto Knuckles' back, and he piggybacks him through the air as they glide all the way back to their home. As they sit around the makeshift Master Emerald altar, Wade and Knuckles talk. Knuckles laments about how he must be a terrible archaeologist if they didn't find anything, and Wade tries to cheer him up. Hey, don't worry, little guy. I'm sure you'll be the best porcupine archaeologist the world has ever seen. Echidna. Right. Well, either way, if you're going to be an archaeologist, you might as well have a hat. Wade hands him a brown hat he found in Tom's closet. This, of course, being the iconic OVA hat. Knuckles smiles. Thank you, Wade. In return, I will train you in the art of the Echidna warrior. Well, I mean, that's not really necessary. I insist. Come, your training begins. The camera pans away into the night sky, where we shift to New York City, where a giant warp ring appears, with a figure leaping out of it. A leather-winged Mobian with white fur looks over a list. Several planets have been crossed off, with Earth being the last on it. The femme fatale smiles to herself. The Master Emerald must be on this planet. I'll find it soon. After all the universe's gems belong to Rouge the Bat. And with that, the white bat flew off into the night to search. This would be the end of episode 1, and from here, most of the episodes of the series could be pretty episodic. You can have episodes where Knuckles joins a bowling league, or you could have a Karate Kid parody, or you could even just have an episode where Knuckles and Wade just hang out. Pretty much, this would be your chance to just show them off as characters without an intense plotline. Each episode would feature some flashback to Knuckles' youth, and would have some sort of message that ties into the message of the episode. Whether it's about keeping control, making sure you don't give in to rage, etc., etc. The only majorly plot-related aspect would be that each episode would have a mention from a news article about a series of jewel heists, each one getting closer and closer to the western side of America. Which, of course, this is showing that Rouge is getting closer to our main characters. We finally meet Rouge in episode 5, where she breaks into the Wachowski house and attempts to steal the Master Emerald. Knuckles would of course follow in hot pursuit, with the two having a mid-air battle. Rouge, of course, has the upper hand due to her ability to fly, but Knuckles knows Green Hill a lot better than her, and by extension can use the environment to his advantage, along with his gliding ability. At one point during the fight, they even begin using warp rings to teleport between different areas across the globe. This eventually culminates in them appearing in the heart of Green Hills. The pair are both exhausted, but they use the last bit of their strength to try and overpower the other. They exchange blows, and they are both knocked to the ground, with the Master Emerald shattering. As they slowly come to, they see that the blue liquid from episode 1 has formed into a water monster. This, of course, being Chaos. What are you? You absorb the power of the Master Emerald? Chaos couldn't verbally respond, but the creature's glare made its intentions abundantly clear. The monster swung its arm. It extended out, trying to slash Knuckles. The Echidna dodged. Well, if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. Knuckles charged forward, threw a punch, and Chaos's head exploded from the pressure, only to reform seconds later. Knuckles would try again and again to damage it, to no prevail, with the monster getting a leg up on Knuckles, knocking him to the ground. During the chaos, Rouge was angrily picking up the shards of the Master Emerald. If she couldn't have the whole emerald, she might as well have the bits she can. Once she got them all, she threw a warp ring, preparing to leave Knuckles to deal with the monster on his own. But as she was preparing to step away, the water monster threw Knuckles at her, accidentally allowing them both to escape, as the portal closed soon after. The pair looked around. Although Rouge didn't recognize it, Knuckles knew they were in the Caves of Chaos. Why did you bring us here? I didn't bring us here. You didn't. I did. The light orb from episode 1 returned. It came down to the ground, taking form as an orange Echidna girl. My name is Tikal. I'm sorry to summon you here, but I need your help. Does it by any chance have to do with that water monster? Yes. That is Chaos, the god of destruction, and the Echidna tribe's darkest secret. A long time ago, my father, the leader of the Echidna tribe, possessed the Master Emerald. But it was taken away by the Owl tribe. Yes, all Echidna were explained this story as younglings. But that is only one half of the story. After having a taste of the Master Emerald's power, he'd become obsessed, drunk with a lust for destruction. He wanted the Master Emerald back, but he knew he would need a new power source to obtain it. For a long time, we had heard there was a creature roaming this planet. This, of course, was Chaos, the peaceful god of destruction. He understood that his powers would only be used against those who deserved it. But my father, he simply wanted the power for his own. So he tracked down the creature, dragged him to these caves, tortured him for years, trying to unlock the secrets of his power. He wanted it for his own. He needed his power. We finally discovered what my father had done. I tried to convince him to let Chaos free, but he refused. His mind had been warped. He believed I was trying to take the power from him. He attacked me. It seemed seeing this transpire was more than enough for Chaos to take. He attacked my father. He and his guards defended themselves, but they couldn't stop Chaos. One of them finally tried to flee, sealing the cave with them all inside. None survived. With my dying breath, as my blood dribbled onto the ground, I saw Chaos crying out for freedom. My spirit has lingered here. I cannot leave. And I have seen how Chaos's madness and hate has become fueled since then. He wished for revenge against all those like my father, the greedy and the prideful. Knuckles and Rouge looked down at their feet. One way or another, Chaos must be stopped. He will not rest until all he deems guilty face his judgment. I understand. I will do what I must. With that, Knuckles charged out of the cave, seeking Chaos, with Rouge trying to figure out what to do next. Back in Green Hills, Chaos was ripping apart the small town. Wade had arrived on the scene and began opening fire on Chaos, but the bullets simply fell to the ground before the water monster. Chaos prepared to strike down the officer, but Knuckles jumped in the way, smashing the hand into water droplets. It reformed as Chaos focused on his new target. You seek a battle, monster. Follow me. Knuckles raced off into the distance. Chaos, in fury, charged after the descendant of his oppressor. The pair raced down Mushroom Hill Drive before finally finding themselves at a lake. Chaos dived in, using the water to expand his body into a massive form. The monster slammed its fist down again and again, trying to squash the Echidna. But Knuckles wasn't fighting back. He was simply evading. Eventually, however, he was caught off guard by a tentacle. It picked up Knuckles. The monster prepared to squash the Echidna between its two hands, when a heart-shaped bomb was thrown at the creature. Its arm exploded, breaking Knuckles free. As the Echidna fell towards the ground, Rouge caught him midair. You are assisting me? Don't look too far into it, handsome. I just didn't feel like watching someone die today. Besides, this monster was living rent-free in my emerald. That's something that won't go unpunished. Knuckles smirked. So, how are we killing this thing? We are not trying to kill it. What? We are simply allowing it to release its anger. Evade for as long as you can. What? That's fine. With that, Rouge followed Knuckles' lead. They continued dodging over and over again, as the monster worked through the rest of its Master Emerald power. Eventually, it didn't even have the strength to maintain its monstrous form, bringing it back to its base level. As it fell to one knee, Knuckles raised a fist before extending it to the creature. Chaos was surprised. He wasn't expecting a sign of compassion from an echidna of all things. I cannot apologize enough for what you went through. It was unjust and cruel. But you must understand, all who wronged you are gone. And this destruction, it is not justified. I can give my apologies and my condolences, but you must move on, Chaos. Though harsh, the monster understood the meaning behind Knuckles' words. It simply nodded, walked towards a sewer drain, and disappeared. Knuckles smiled, knowing that he had redeemed his ancestors' sins. Then he turned to the bat. So, about the Master Emerald shot. He looked down. All the shards were there. Knuckles looked around, expecting her to jump out at any moment, but she didn't. As such, he collected the shards, reassembled the Master Emerald, and headed back home. The next day, with all the destruction being cleaned up, Wade returned to Tom's house to hear Knuckles ragefully searching his closet. Buddy, what seems to be the problem? She took it. Wait, she took the Master Emerald? No, worse. We cut to Rouge, admiring a gem while wearing Knuckles' hat. A second voice interrupts her. I see you like gems. Of course I do. All the gems in the universe are mine. Of course they are. I'm Agent Topaz. So you're here to arrest me? Not quite. We have a proposition for you. We can get you all the gems you want, if you're willing to do a couple jobs for us. Cut to black. Well, that was a bit longer than my normal videos, but I hope it gives you an idea of what my version of the Knuckles show would be like. I wanted to recontextualize some elements from the Sonic universe. Obviously, things can't match one-to-one with how they are in the games, but I wanted to at least recreate the spirit of the events. Such as how the Echidnas negatively affected Chaos, Rouge trying to steal the Master Emerald, and of course, how Knuckles gets his hat. So, what do you guys think of my pitch? And do you have anything you would change? Or do you think my crappy fanfiction is just fine? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm ComicFan13. I hope you have a good day. Oh, and for anyone wondering how I would work the chaotics into this series, just have one of the spare episodes feature a plotline where either Knuckles or Wade are messing around with a warp ring, and they accidentally get warped to another planet where the chaotics are placed. I would go with a Casino Night planet, but that's just me. The episode could be a detective movie parody. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. See ya.